Hello folks, it's the first Monday in November and a quick check-in. Really hoping this week that I receive my Murphy. The first thing that I receive is the tracking note, from the manufacturer saying that FedEx is on its way. It's usually a few days. So, man, I have to admit that, it's been depressing. I do have depression, although I don't feel it and deal with it, pretty well. Don't really notice it. But waiting for the album to arrive, even though I've done this several times now, every time the wait is excruciating. And it does create depression, It's the hardest part of making records, you want it and you have to wait so long. So, just thought I'd share that. That's been on my mind. I forget the person's name, but the person that asked me to speak about Andre Lewis responded, and I never thought of this. Daft Punk. I see it. Daft Punk is, to me, just really commercial. It's really well done, but it's like it's not music that I need to hear anymore. So I really don't pay him any attention. But the idea that Daft Punk probably got their helmet head idea from Andre Lewis, look at that. Very astute of you, my friend. I would have never made the connection even while looking at it, because Daft Punk don't even register on my radar. It's just commercial music. How about that? Andre Lewis from Omaha, Nebraska probably is the inspiration for Daft Punk's space age look. Look at that. And this album was released in 1977. On the music front, I don't have much new to share with you, really not much new at all. What I have to share with you is a purchase. I have my allegiances, and some are stronger than others, and some are more affordable than others. Alpha Stare is, Jeff Klukowski is someone I have yet to meet in person, but I feel a connection with him as a person. And even though we don't communicate, we were communicating more than we have been lately for a while, but that's just how I am. It doesn't mean I'm less of your friend. That's just how I am. But I bought his latest CD under his name Alpha Stare. He had shown it online, and I was immediately taken by the graphics. I said, okay, nice one, Jeff. This is looking good. That's his artwork. Even better is the inside. That is cool. That is a cool design. So when I saw it, I already know. Jeff and I have collaborated, long distance on a couple of short pieces. I think at least one of them is online on Bandcamp. So I had to get this, and show him some love and respect and buy the damn thing. Now I haven't even popped this into the CD player. I've listened to it on Bandcamp. I've been really busy, actually, And when I haven't been busy, I've been watching documentaries because it's what I want to do, So I haven't actually played the disc itself, but I've listened to it online. And Jeff's work with sound, but this is, he's definitely coming from the end of the spectrum regarding sound, where groups like Coil and Nurse with Wound and maybe a slightly industrial feel is there, but I wouldn't call this that at all. My memory of what I played, I can put some on now, actually. He's like, yeah, Jeff, you're just getting better and better. But I'll tell you, honestly, one of the big things was how nice the graphics turned out. Which is important. I think it's real important. So this is the latest new piece of music in my house. I keep forgetting to mention some music that I've heard by artists that I don't have any of their records, but I really like them, and what I did is Pure Bathing Culture is a band that I've heard that I really like their sound. 100 Waters, I think they're incredible. That woman's voice and her writing, it's fantastic. 100 Waters. North Atlantic Oscillation, I think, are incredible. I wish I could afford their vinyl. Soul Stuffier, what I've heard of them, I really like. Just don't have the money. I also forgot to shout out to James Drummond. James Drummond from England is a long-distance friend here in the VC. And he sent to me a couple of things, and I want to thank him. Let me find it first. Come on. Here we go. He was very kind. He knows that I like David Sylvian and the band Japan and all that's associated with it. And he had this laser disc of Oil on Canvas, and he sent it to me. Now, I don't have a laser disc player, but I have a couple of laser discs in my collection, so this was very kind of you, James. I'm sure you'll be watching this at some time. Thank you so much, James. I love this. Now, the other thing that you gave me that really is a wonderful treat, and I think it's sitting in the other room, is James dubbed for me onto DVD, the recent BBC Genesis documentary, so I could see that. And that was a super treat. Here it is, yeah. This was a super treat from you, James, to get to see this. Thank you. I've always loved the band Genesis. Been studying them for a long time, and a lot of what became evident to me about the band, its history, and the personalities, turns out that I was reading it correctly, which is namely that Tony Banks is the leader of the band musically, that he is very, what it appears to me to be very stereotypically English, that he's very uptight, very controlling, and uppity, uppity. Now, I love Tony's music, but it was so obvious from so many things that the animosity between Tony Banks and Steve Hackett hasn't gone anywhere. And both of them are holding on to it, but I could visibly see Tony Banks holding on to it. He wouldn't get anywhere near Steve Hackett in those group photos when they met up for the photo sessions. He wouldn't get anywhere near him. I also listened to the language, the way they spoke in the recent interviews. I really appreciate Peter Gabriel. That I've always known that about Peter Gabriel. He is just really honest and just trying to be real, and he continued to be so throughout this special. I loved how he wasn't afraid to just call a spade, and said, Tony was jealously, guarding his position in the band. No one else could play keyboards, and Peter loved to play piano. And shit that started when they were in school together as teens. It never ended. Steve Hackett definitely got snubbed. They didn't, he was a member of Genesis. They covered all the members' solo careers, except for Anthony Phillips, which, in my opinion, if I'd done the documentary, I would have included Anthony Phillips as well, because he's so central to the beginning of the band. And they glossed over rather quickly Tony because he never made any money. That seems to be this deciding factor, is who made money. But they didn't do anything on Steve Hackett's solo career, which was criminal, in my opinion. That's criminal. And I think it's just a sad, I'm a human being too, but when I become aware of my bullshit, I try to do something about it, I'm not perfect, but if somebody lets me know, hey, you're just being a fucking asshole, and it's true, I try to deal with that and do better. But I don't see that too much around me, and I didn't, definitely could see that wasn't happening with, Genesis, It's stupid and sad, I've always liked Phil Collins, and I relate to him, and I see where he's been conflicted. He's a real musician, but he's like, But it's like, I had a chance to go for the Golden Hoop. Why shouldn't I? And I really love this music, and the criticism by hacks and people who really, are just making money off of their, whatever they're saying, were clueless, never even stopped to think about, the fact they're talking about a human being, I mean, I've done that because I used to just really lambast Kiss. And, it's on video. I came correct with that, they're horrible musicians, but they're people, They deserve love and respect. Isn't this nice? Can you hear it? So thank you, James Drummond, for the Genesis, Together and Apart, giving me the opportunity to see that. I have been busy this weekend with Cleman and Out of Sight, Out of Mind. The Cleman visit was cobbled together and rather last minute, and so we didn't advertise and put on a big show. We played a house show here in Omaha, which was fun. A few people attended, and then last night we played in Kansas City at the Riot Room. But this is the album that Cleman put out last year, Different, and I play on half the album, bass. I didn't release this. Cowdog Records in Chicago released this, but it is available through me, and it's online. You can listen to this online. It's very good. It's basically pop, folk pop. I don't know what to call it, but you can buy it online from CD Baby. You can also get it from me. If you buy it from me, I get a cut. This is a good album. Cleman, Different. We played it in Kansas City last night, and we did a house show, like I said, in Omaha, and it was a good time. Okay, so what am I going to wrap up with? I'm going to wrap up with talking about politics for a second, okay? So you can tune out now. Tomorrow is midterm elections. I will be voting. My personal perspective seems to be radical to a lot of people, which blows my mind, because to me, what I'm seeing is just the realness of it, which is politics are pretty much totally corrupt from my point of view. I mean, so corrupt that you actually can't do anything effective for the sake of it being effective. It must align itself with several agendas, monies, people, before anything happens. So consequently, I am under no illusion that I, as an individual, am getting any representation by the politicians that I vote for. No matter how well I study them, and I always do, try to check out, and I'll be doing that today, looking at the roster and information of people I'll be voting for. There is no representation, because even when you throw out the old bums, the new bums come in, and I've worked as a lobbyist. They come in and they face the reality, which is, fuck, ain't nothing moving but what has been moving. And, get your paycheck, but you're not changing anything. At this house party that I played with Cleman, a big part of the evening was having dinner with the people and talking, and I was talking to this woman, and she is one of those people that thinks that I'm being negative, when I gave my opinion. And I'm saying I'm not being, from my perspective, this is based on my experience, what I've been observing since I was a child. It's not something I read or saw on Alex Jones. I watch that stuff too, but it's just in line with what I've been seeing, which is, absolute corruption. People of color don't matter. Barack Obama was placed, he's in the business he's in to deflect, to keep people off balance. This woman actually said to me, don't you think it's a good thing that we have a black president? I said, this isn't a real black president. It's a fucking stooge. It's a corporate stooge. Are you kidding me? You can't see that? All the shit he's done, how horrible he is? And she's ready to dismiss it because we have a black president. What? That's my response. I'm just thinking, man, what the fuck? People would rather believe the illusion than deal with the reality. That's what it looks like to me. So I'll be voting, but it's so horribly broken. And I really see pretty much no evidence when people try to tell me that I am too radical and that I'm wrong in what I see. And I take another look at the world I'm living in. I don't see what the fuck they're talking about. I'm thinking, these people watch TV, you know, they're in fantasy land. They watch corporate television, so they believe they're fed constant lies, so they don't know what the fuck is going on. And it's like, you know, I talk about this stuff with people who do know what's going on, and ultimately we always get back to the point, well, awareness is and knowledge is power. I'd rather know than not. I don't know exactly what to do beyond small actions as a citizen to try to change things. But I can't just, I for one am not going to just, oh, you know, things aren't so bad and just live. I do just live, but I will continue to just be a mouth like this. It's the least I can do. I do take action. I sign petitions, which I think every now and then is effective. Mostly it's not. You know, I get out and demonstrate. I've called my senators. I've visited them. I try to work the system. The system is broke. And so the only thing that's going on is bullshit and power. It just disgusts me. And I'll make comments online and people will actually, there'll always be some people who come at me like something's wrong with me. You're the one being negative. No, I'm not. I didn't make this shit. I'm observing it. I'm commenting on it. What the fuck is, how can you be so blind, or how? That's where I'm at with it. It's like, but I do understand that, you know, if you got it good and you got a good job, or you inherited some money and everything's fine over in your corner, you don't know what, you don't give a shit. Much less do you have any reason to even observe folks that are not having it, that have it shitty. Thanks again, folks, for just wanting to visit. It's a two-way street. It is. I respect and love you all. I haven't been watching any videos. I'm just, you know, but I do check. I do every now and then check in. So, just, this is important, you know. This connection it's a real connection, and you know, in many ways, this is a very comfortable way to interact with people. You know, there's always this lamentation that people spend too much time on the computer and have forgotten how to interact with real people. Well, I haven't. I do both, and in a lot of ways, I like this better. It's like I can say what I got to say, you can say what you got to say, and we're not stuck, you know, together. It's like I can say something that I can leave. I can read what you say, or I don't, you know. I don't have to. I kind of like this.